My name is Pravina. My matrix number is A24A3371. I'll be presenting the introduction and overview of the regulatory framework for minimum wage practices in Malaysia. To begin, minimum wage refers to the lowest salary that employers are legally required to pay the employees. In Malaysia, the current minimum wage is 1,700 per month. The purpose of minimum wage is to protect workers from being underpaid and to ensure they receive a basic income that can support their daily living needs. It also helps reduce income inequality and promotes fair treatment in the workplace. The minimum wage policy in Malaysia was established under the National Wages Consultative Council at Act 2011. Before this, wages were mainly determined by market forces and individual employers. Since its first implementation in 2013, the policy has undergone several revisions to reflect changes in the economy, inflation, and the increasing cost of living. This shows the government's commitment to improving workers' welfare while maintaining economic growth. Moving on the overview of the regulatory framework, the current minimum wage applies across all industries and regions in Malaysia. The policy is also aligned with Madani Economic Framework, which aims to create a more inclusive economy by improving income levels and quality of life, especially for lower income workers. In addition, the successful implementation of minimum wage requires cooperation between the government and the employers. The government is responsible for setting the wage regulations and ensuring compliance, while employers must adjust their salary structures and workforce planning to meet these requirements. Therefore, a balance must be achieved between protecting employee welfare and ensuring business stability. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Leong Zhen Hao. My matric number is A24A3192. In this part, I'm going to talk about the strategy HR of importance. Okay, the first, which is improve employee welfare. Minimum wage helps low-income workers afford basic needs like food, house, and transport. This reduces stress and creates a happier workplace. Second, which is motivation and satisfaction. When employees feel financially secure, they are more motivated and satisfied with their job. They work harder and stay longer in the company. Third one, which is poverty reduction. Minimum wage helps reduce poverty and makes income more balanced between high and low paid workers. And the last one, talent attraction and retention. Fair minimum wage makes it easier to attract and keep good employees. This saves recruitment costs and reduce turnover. Alright, let's move to the next part. In this part, I'm going to tell about contemporary issues and challenges about minimum wage. First, urban-rural cost of living. 100,000 ringgit Malaysia is same everywhere in Malaysia, right? But the living cost in city like KL, Penang or Johor is much higher. Urban workers are still struggle and hard to survive. Second, which is financial burden of SME. Small companies face big cost increase. They must follow the law but also need to survive with thin profits. Third, which is productivity wage gap. Higher pay does not automatically mean higher productivity. HR must provide training and tools to help employees perform better. And the last one is foreign workers dynamics. The minimum wage reduces the cost difference between local and foreign workers. Companies now have to decide whether to hire locals, keep foreigners, or use automations. Thank you.
Big picture implication on today's HRM trend. Strategic compensation and benefit planning. First, wage compensation issues. Smaller pay gap between junior and senior employee. Need to review salary structure, additional incentive and benefit requirement. Second, strategy workforce planning and recruiting, rising labor costs, workforce optimization, reduction of redundant positions, increased automation and digitalization. Third, performance management system, which is stronger focus on productivity, performance-based rewards, employee upskill and reskill, enhanced appraisal systems. Fourth, employee and labor relations, employee dissatisfaction over pay differences, potential grievance and disputes, importance of transparent communication, and stronger employee engagement initiative. Next, limitation of current policy practice. First, the one-size-fits-all policy constraint. Same wages rate across Malaysia, ignore regional cost of living differences, challenges of SMEs and labor-intensive sector, limited flexibility for employees. Second, financial burden on businesses. Increased operational costs, reduced profit margin, greater impact on SME, possible reduction in hiring. Third, enforcement and compliance issue. Non-compliance by some employees, inefficiency monitoring and enforcement, unequal implementation across sectors. 4, which is limited effectiveness against rising living costs, which are wage increases may not match inflations, employees still face financial pressure, living wage remain higher than minimum wage. Fifth is risk of unintended consequence, which is reduced working hour, greater reliance on automation, potential job losses in certain sector.
Next, I will explain about the recommendation and strategic justification. First, the government can provide targeted subsidies and tax relief for SMEs. This helps small businesses manage the higher labor costs caused by the 1,700 ringgit minimum wage. With temporary financial support, SMEs can adjust gradually while maintaining their operations, protecting jobs and ensuring employees receive fair wages. Second, Malaysia should gradually move towards the Progressive Wage Policy or PWP. Under this approach, wage increases are linked to employee skills, training and productivity. This encourages workers to improve their performance while helping businesses achieve sustainable growth and build a more skilled workforce. Finally, stronger regulatory oversight is needed to improve minimum wage compliance. The government should conduct regular audits, strengthen enforcement, and increase penalties for repeat offenders. These measures will protect our workers, reduce wage violations, and create a fairer business environment for all employees. In conclusion, these recommendations aim to balance worker welfare with business sustainability. Through financial support, progressive wage growth, and stronger enforcement, Malaysia can achieve a fair and effective minimum wage system. That's all by me. I'll pass it to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Kunansha and my number matric is A24A3292. In conclusion, the 1,700 ringgit minimum wage is a great step forward for worker welfare, but it definitely brings complex challenge for SMEs and the informal sector. From an HR perspective, this policy changed everything. It forced us to shift from basic payrolls tracking to a strategy, performance-oriented approach where higher pay must be backed up by higher productivity. Moving forward, a balanced approach is a key. Government support like target subsidies combined with HR strategy like upscaling will help minimize business pressure. Ultimately, this policy is not just a cost burden, it is a powerful catalyst for HR transformation and sustainable economic growth in Malaysia. Thank you.